Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start the meeting. Today's date is March 18th. And this is the commissioner meeting, and if everyone would stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, Helen, how about, do you have any minutes, or you do? Okay. One step, okay. I have here the minutes from March 4th of this year, 2025, as for the commissioners meeting, like a motion. So moved. Okay, second? Second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, how about any reports?
I have none.
None? Correspondence?
None.
Okay. Moving right along, what do you got?
Nothing.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, something.
Oh, yeah, when you call me by a different name like you did the other day.
Terry actually was supposed to give her balance report this morning, but she left it on her desk, so we will probably
Oh.
have that forthcoming.
Okay. Okay, moving along, and how about calendar review, please? Or let me back up, do you guys have any correspondence, commissioners? No. No, okay, yep, calendar review, please.
Okay, tonight, 5 o'clock, there's a DUI task force. I show nothing tomorrow. Thursday, there is a mental health local advisory committee meeting at noon. LEPC meeting at 1, survey review at 1:30, library report at 6:30. It is Commissioner Doolittle's Friday. And on Monday, 6:30, Parks, Recreation and Trails Commission.
And I have the Rocky Mountain aging board on
Thursday?
Thursday too, at 11.
Oh, what?
Commissioner Kirsch, do you have anything else that needs to be changed or additions or? corrections?
Tomorrow I have a JLDC meeting over in Montana City at 1 o'clock, I believe, at the Montana City Grill. And then there's that wetlands meeting tomorrow about, you remember that one I passed over
Right,
to you
and right now Parks, Trails, Recreation, and Bayou is gonna go on that part of it.
on the wetlands part of it? Okay,
And then they're just gonna do, is my understanding, they're just gonna go check it out,
okay.
walk through.
Oh, they're gonna do a walkthrough.
Yeah, just a
on it,
walk
okay.
through over it, that's what's going.
Okay, then there's a headwaters, RC&D is at the headwaters review, there's a member meeting Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock is what it is. And I think that was all I had, Mr. Chairman, Dan.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, let's go ahead and start with, I guess, commission reports. How about you, Commissioner Doolittle?
Let's see, I attended a Elkhorn working group and a Bedrock meeting where they basically discussed letters to their congressional delegates regarding the Forest Service and all the layoffs that are happening. I assisted there with road interviews. I attended some cyber training that we all went through and did survey review with a couple things on Thursday afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kirsch.
Back on the 6th, I went to BTAC. Schools were in basketball tournaments. We all kind of heard that what's going on there. Elkhorn Community Foundation's getting ready to put out grants in May. Yellowstone Boys and Girls Club hiring as usual, still looking for therapists. I think they're still looking for a good therapist to get the girls side open. Hopefully they'll find somebody here eventually. Southwest Youth Partners, their youth leadership conference had 68 attendees. I think that was down in Whitehall. They were going to do a chili feed fundraiser at the Windsor, and I think she said that was good. It went very well. And the animal shelter gave an update, and the kennels were being installed, and this is a couple weeks old, so they're probably installed and working now, hopefully. On the 10th, I met with the Basin Fire Trustees there in Basin. Mostly want to discuss the jail property there, if they wanted to take responsibility for that, because we have law that we could actually give it down to a different governmental agency. And they were mostly concerned about the liability on the thing and really didn't think there was any reason for them to take it, so they're kind of gonna pass on it right now, I guess, so, we'll see what the citizens there wanna do with it. If they wanna start a committee or if they wanna, do anything, additions or anything, or any, fix up or anything, they'll just have to come through the commission instead of the fire department. That was my, reasoning was they'd have a little closer, rule of government than had to come all the way up to us to do anything with that
Right.
jail, so. But they said no, so that ends that for now. Let's see, on 3/11, we had a road meeting, we had some, concerns with, Harlow's had some concerns with the plowing, mostly up on the north end, the, Corbin Road. Didn't get plowed satisfactory, we got plowed and then snowed back in by the time the buses got up there, we're not sure, but I think we got that fixed with a little bit of communication. Our DEQ permit up there, for the pit above the north end shop was a 1983 version, and it's a little different now, so we're working on updating that permit. Working on talking to the Helena Forest about the Warm Springs Strawberry Butte maintenance, area there between our county road and our other county road. It's Forest Service in between. I've got an email into, the ranger up there in the Helena district to get a meeting together with all of us so we can discuss what they can do and what we can do, and hopefully get something for those guys up there. They were doing Montana City operator interviews, which I think they had completed, and they reported today that they hired somebody. Solid Waste Board meeting last week, discussion about rate increases, scheduled meeting around county, so we're gonna try to schedule meetings wherever we have a solid waste site. Jefferson City, Clancy, Montana City, Basin, Boulder, and Whitehall, we will do a meeting there, discuss, rate increases, because we haven't had one, and since we built the Montana City site, and that was well before 2020, when everything doubled in price. So we've been running on a negative number for a few years now, so we're starting to whittle down our extra revenue we have in that account, so we're gonna have to raise our rates to keep up with our spending. Let's see, and in that meeting, we had one request for a fee adjustment for a seasonal cabin of cataract, which we granted. And, Craig already mentioned the cyber tabletop exercise we did on the 12th, and that was really good. Gave us a lot to think about if we ever were attacked or got, or our system got entered by a cyber criminal, and what we would do and how we would, run business without our computers or without our telephones and all that, so. And this morning we met, with the road supervisor again, nothing really new there. We're looking at maybe some of those electric speed signs to put on a trailer to be able to place around the county. They have lots of different functions besides just flashing the speed at you. They'll actually count the cars. They'll tell you how fast they were going and give you a big graph of what the traffic patterns are in that area. It sounds like a pretty good deal. They're not that expensive, and we do have a lot of roads that we get complaints about speed on, so might help. Let's see, anything else worth mentioning? They're gonna try to help the city of Boulder with some a millings project on the Thompson Street, just south of Boulder, just straight south of the fire department out there. Get some millings placed on that street. And then we met with Terry, the treasurer, after that. She said she balanced to the penny last month. They did a rollover on their, what is it, the Montana vehicle system. Trying to think what that's
Motor
called.
Vehicle Division.
MVD or MDV.
Motor Vehicle Division, MVD.
Yeah. They're having some printer issues with their new software, but they're working through that, and we got a bunch of training modules for their employees to go through, but it sounds like it's actually working fairly well, so. When you go to get your license plate sticker, it should be working pretty good, so.
I was there yesterday getting Joanna's and
No problem.
took 3 minutes.
Nice. There we go. So I think that was all I can think of for the last couple of weeks, Mr. Chairman.
Just like Mr. Kirsch has been doing this too long, because I'll pretty much recap what's in.
Okay.
Okay, on the 5th of this month, the Beaverhead Deer Lodge Working Group, the BBRD, discussion about the request of the need for another U.S. Forest Service law enforcement officer, which would make a total of 5. Currently, there's 4. This also included the need for travel management being recognized as the Forest Service's top priority. These requests were addressed in a letter addressed to the Congress, senators, and representatives. At the time of this meeting, Beaverhead Deer Lodge Forest Service advised the group that they had lost 31% of their staff. That was 2 weeks ago, so. I can't tell you yay or nay, give or take. And then on the 11th, Jefferson County Weed District Board meeting. Meeting consisted of Jill updating the board that she had currently interviewed 3 candidates for this upcoming summer from the Montana Conservation Corps. After consideration, Jill contacted the successful candidate to see if they would accept the position and is now waiting to hear back. Jill then opened the sealed bids from the chemical distributors and the board and made their selection of the chemicals that they needed and whom they would purchase it from. Jill then opened the sealed bid for whom the weed spray contractor would be, and this was the only one, that being Helena Weed Control. Finally, Jill advised at the time of her report, the Bureau of Land Management and Bonneville Power wouldn't have a contract. So that Helena Weed Control is gonna be doing the whole county now this year. So, and then on Wednesday, I'll just recap a little bit. Cyber table talk exercise was held here in this office. With representation from the commissioners, with the recorder's office, treasurer's office, county attorney's office, disaster emergency services, and HR. Which presented the exercise of always having a potential threat due to cybersecurity and what security precautions that all the Jefferson County employees could contribute to help stop any hacking with our government entities. And then there was a CTAC meeting, but I couldn't make it because I had another meeting up here at the same time, which was the Jefferson County Health Board SIM, which was a sequential intercept model mapping event. The event was held out here at the volunteer hall. It consisted of mental health being the issue in our county. The issues brought to the table were emergency medical services, law enforcement, and the health department not having the appropriate tools at hand to help while they are responding or arriving on scene. The goal was to establish mental crisis within our county and what needs to be done to improve it as for current response, our ongoing needs, and future opportunities. After discussion, the facilitator took everything into consideration with her, and on Thursday, April 3rd of this year, she'll return with a drafted SIM map geared towards Jefferson County for presentation. Last night's Whitehall Town Hall meeting, Town Council approved Starbuds, which is a dispensary within the town limits. In the McGree trucking operational increase, there would be a 13.2 increase in costs. Currently per year, the cost is $125,000. And the increase would now be $1,300 more for a total of $126,300 per year. Montana City area, or excuse me, Jefferson County Road and Bridge, Road Department Supervisor Bear Taylor, which Commissioner Kirsch already mentioned. Montana City area had new delineators installed in the area and equipment shop maintenance done. Boulder area had completed sign maintenance in the area, as well as plowing snow off of the Whitetail Road at approximately mile marker 20 on the incline of the hill on the roadway as to make it more passable. And Whitehall did equipment / shop maintenance. County crew is working like Commissioner Kirsch said on the millings, so skip that. And the employee, I'll skip that. And some road crew employees will be attending the Macros conference in Great Falls next week, as well as County Commissioner Doolittle. The road crew employees will be receiving certificates that they have worked for and earned in their fields. And then again, today we met with the treasurer, Terry, and she advised that within her department, everything budgeted itself correctly without any errors. She also mentioned that Department of Motor Vehicles new system has been implemented in the treasurer's office after working with the state of Montana for the last few months. That's all I have. Thank you, that's enough. Okay. All right. Moving along for public comment. This is the opportunity for anyone that would wish to comment that anything that's not on the agenda that they would wish to talk about. And if so, please identify yourself first, but we cannot take any action at this time. Is there anyone that would like to say anything? Anybody here in the audience? Okay, Connor, we'll start with you.
I got
Hello.
nothing for you today, guys, but thank you.
Thank you. How about you, Teresa? No? Okay. All right, we're gonna move right along since we don't have anything pressing. Okay, next will be a presentation from Montana Trout Unlimited, which is Chris Edgington on the Shaw Dam removal update. What can you tell us, Chris?
All right, thank you, commissioners, for having me today. So back in 2021, you sponsored a grant through the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act. There was a $10 million irrigation carve out where we could improve irrigation while improving conditions on the ground. And so at that time, we shot a little low on what the cost might be. And so at this time, we said we would remove the dam on the Boulder River by the end of the grant, which is December 2025. With the engineering firm that we hired, there were a number of complexities at the site, primary ones being the Northwest Energy transmission lines. In order to remove the dam and safeguard those transmission lines, we need quite an engineered project. And so with Golden Sunlight being the landowner and us being the project manager, we want to limit that liability as much as possible. There's, I think, almost 230K on one line and 325 on another. And so it's a good chunk of power for Western Montana. So we kind of had to step back, relook at the initial plan, which was about a $300,000 simple dam removal, some step pools to keep the river from head cutting upstream. And so now we're looking at building a new channel, removing the dam in the dry, and then putting certain kinds of armor around those transmission lines. And then we are also, when we move that channel, we're going to move it to the west about 60 feet. Because right now the river is within about 30 feet of the transmission line. So we want to get that river far away. And so if you turn to that second page in that document I sent you yesterday, this is our 60% design. And so we've got about 2,000 linear feet of new river channel. We're adding a wetland complex, removing the dam, and securing the area around those transmission lines. And so at this time, we need to update our scope of work since we will not complete this project by the end of this year. I've sent a draft change to DNRC, and they said if the commission approves today of the new scope of work, that what I've provided is enough documentation and to move forward with the change in scope of work, and we'll continue to work on the project once we spend this money down. There's $81,000 left in our ARPA grant, and that's between ARPA and the match. And so ARPA grant was 125K, the match was 125K. So remaining is 36K in match and 45K in ARPA. And so we want to make sure we're on the front end of that match. We don't want to get done with design and realize we haven't met our match. So we're trying to stay just a few $1,000s ahead on match. So I've provided that 60% design, new scope of work, a new budget there on the bottom of page 3, and essentially justification on that last page of impacts of the intended outcome. And so we are still moving forward with dam removal and stream restoration. It's just going to take longer and cost more than we anticipated in 2021.
So is it my understanding, and Chris, from what I'm looking at this map, or we're looking at this map,
Mhm.
this is the intended route of what you want to do right now?
Yeah, this is, so at 30% design, we had a couple three alternatives to choose from. The mine, as the landowner,
Oh,
chose kind of our preferred alternative, which has more ecological benefits than just a simple dam removal. And so, but yes, this is our 60% design. This is in front of Barrick leadership right now. And so once we have the thumbs up from them, we'll move from 60 to 90%. But at this 60%, we can start our permitting process. And so we'll be able to, we'll have the Army Corps 404, the 310, 318 from DNRC or DQ, and then the floodplain. And so this being a mapped floodplain, this is it's one of the things that, made the cost go up. Doing a floodplain amendment is about
Mm.
$45,000.
Really?
Wow. And then this still encompasses that wetland, doesn't it? Through here, where you're talking like, which would, if I remember, it would be over by, what is it, Candlestick? Is that right?
Yeah, so this is entirely on Candlestick Ranch. There, you see Cottonwood Road on the bridge on the right. And so everything upstream of that is on Candlestick. And the wetland complex on what would be the top of the page or the east, that's actually the Cardwell ditch right now that we will be creating a wetland complex. And one thing, Golden Sunlight and the Lenny Huckabee, the last user on the ditch, we've been working on point of diversion changes so we can get them off of these ditches and they can pump right from the river. And so that has to happen first. We expect the point of diversion change for Lenny to be completed through DNRC next month. Barrick has their own legal team working on their irrigation upgrade, so I'm not sure where they're at on it. But at this time, this is the 60% design. And the great thing about, this project is that Golden Sunlight has that whole property open up to public access. And so, I mean, this is going to be a real accessible project for people to go see and experience. And especially for those who have seen the dam there before. We were out shocking fish last week, and it's amazing how many fish just sit below that dam and likely want to go upstream to either spawn in the summer. They want to go upstream for thermal relief, because about 11 miles upstream of this dam is Cold Springs, and it's a 54-degree, 45 CFS spring that, fish will now have access to that additional 11 miles between the dam and the spring. And so this is the kind of work that will really help these fish and other aquatic animals through like drought conditions and just things like that. So we still have full commitment from Golden Sunlight, Fish, Wildlife and Parks and DNRC. And then NRCS is also helping Lenny fund part of his irrigation upgrade. So.
So when you talking, my understanding is that the finances, they're based on the concept of this, right now?
Yep, so the remaining money in ARPA will get us to final design and final permitting. And then the construction will be somewhere between 1 to 1.2 million is the engineer's cost estimate. And we currently have 306,000 in construction dollars as well. Our goal last year was to raise 300,000 in non-federal funding to match a Bureau Rec grant that no longer is available at this time, but
Right.
it could be available again. It's hard to know.
Yeah, hopefully. Kind of thing. So I guess so I understand this. So you're wanting for us to approve this based on this design now, right? So what you're asking?
Yeah, the new scope of work, which is gets us through final design, permitting,
Okay.
and then $15,000 towards Lenny's irrigation upgrade.
I think a lot of this is the ARPA funding's gotta be spent up by the end of this year, right?
December 31st, 2025.
So
You've
they're
seen that?
putting together,
You've seen that?
So that's just kind of a breakout of what's in this larger document.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what DNRC needs to move forward with the scope of work change.
so they're trying to spend up all their ARPA,
Right.
get farther down the project, and then
So-
once they get that done, then they can move forward.
I'm not sure, I mean, he's on the agenda, we can actually vote on this, can we not?
It doesn't need to be voted on,
Okay.
it's just
Yeah. I mean,
it just lets the DNRC know that we support it.
that's it, you guys agree?
Yeah.
I said that. And yep, we'll support it.
Thank you, commissioners.
All right, thank you, Chris, appreciate it.
You want to sign it since you're now?
Yeah. Sign. I'll have to give Ginger a copy of that.
I will, I can snap a photo and send it to you, Ginger, and to you as well, Helen. So I will do that maybe by the time you adjourn today, so.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Moving along, now we're gonna be looking at resolution 07-2025 or 2025, setting seasonal weight limits on certain county roads.
Mentioned this morning, huh?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read it then. Resolution number 07-2025, resolution setting seasonal weight limits on certain county roads within Jefferson County, Montana, 2025. Whereas the County Commission of Jefferson County, Montana Commission have the authority under Montana Code annotated 61-10-128 to impose restrictions on the weight of vehicles traveling on public roads under Jefferson County's jurisdiction. And whereas Montana Code annotated 7-14-2101 provides the commission with the authority over all county roads. And whereas Montana Code annotated 61-10-147 provides for the enforcement of restricted weight limits. And whereas public safety and general welfare allows for the modification of weight limits on county roads in response to climatic conditions to prevent accidents and damage to property. And whereas the commission has determined, number one, the following section of roads and roads are under Jefferson County's jurisdiction. And number two, Jefferson County is responsible for the maintenance of the listed sections of roads and roads listed as number one, Holmes Gulch Road from Colonial Drive to South Hills Road. Number two, South Hills Road from Highway 282 to the county line. Number three, McCullen Creek Road from Highway 518 to the end of the pavement. Number four, Warm Springs Creek from the frontage road to the end of the pavement. Number five, Old Hill Hember Road from Clancy Creek Road to the end of the pavement. Number six, Carbon Road from the Jefferson City frontage road, South Main to its intersection with Wicks Road. Number seven, Lump Gulch Road to the end of the pavement. Number eight, the entire length of the following roads: Piedmont Road, Franix Lane, Hanson Lane, Porcella Lane, Matheny Lane, and Paracastle Road, which are all in Whitehall. And whereas the listed roads will be seriously damaged or destroyed by deterioration, rain, snow, or other climatic conditions, unless the use of vehicles on the highway is prohibited. On the permissible vehicle weight limits are reduced. Therefore, it is resolved pursuant to Montana Code annotated 61-10-128, the following limits shall apply on the listed portions of the road. Load limit, single axle, 7 tons, tandem axle, 14 tons, 350 pounds per inch width of tire. It is further resolved, the following vehicles are exempt from the weight limit: school buses, emergency responders, essential services, propane trucks, heating oil trucks, garbage trucks, and septic trucks. It is further resolved, this resolution is effective on the erection of weight limit signs establishing the allowed weight and shall cease to be in effect when the weight limit signs are removed. Weight limit signs shall be posted at each end of the restricted portion of the listed roadways. The location and duration of the signs within the listed roadway portions shall be at the discretion of the county. It further resolved all previous resolutions setting weight limits on the above listed roads and identified sections of the above listed roads are rescinded. Okay, and then, does it matter if we got one misspelled word?
What's that?
Does it matter if we got one misspelled word?
What do you got? As long as it's not my name. Buses?
Yeah.
That's close enough. I think.
That's what, that's,
Yeah.
it's more than Boosters, but that's what.
Yeah, that would be a Scrivener's error.
You know, we won't point anything.
All right,
They
thank
all
you.
know who the Scrivener
Thank you,
is.
Counselor. Okay, so that's pretty much what it is. You guys are all in agreement to this?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 07-2025. Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. President. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Yeah, let's just sign it first. That one's done. Let me get a drink of water. Oh, okay. Okay, next up, Barb Reader, alcohol tax funding. Barb, what do you got for us?
Okay, thank you. Appreciate this time. About a year ago, this time, I think I presented something to you all about getting some of the alcohol tax money of the 100%. I think that was going to go to Andrews. And so thank you. I just want to reiterate the thanks to that. And I know we're getting 10%. And I guess my question is, right now, what I understand from the state is that the first 2 quarters have been designated, but we haven't seen the funds yet. So I just have a question about, when do you guys know, or do you get any information, or what happens from your end, I think is really my question. Is that tax,
Andrew, do you see any of that?
We just got an update on it not too long ago.
yeah,
We get the money when we get it. It's not, like you'll get the bill from Boyd Andrews, but we won't get paid for months until afterward. I haven't specifically looked to see what we've gotten this year.
I can tell you how much it's for the first 2 quarters, it's 1,938.
I can look and see if we've
Yeah.
gotten it, but it's always been,
I
months
can't remember the
after.
last time I've gotten a bill.
Yeah, because it's quarterly, obviously, and I just totaled the 2 quarters that I had gotten information from, so anyway. And I think, the reason I bring it up is because it's really getting more of a tight ship, or tightness with monies available for prevention. And this is a really great resource for prevention because it has much more flexibility than my block grant monies and some other things that I work with. So that's why I thought I'd bring it up and bring it to this group. And that, along that same line around tax money, I know, and I just have a question about this more than anything, is where are we? And I know, Steve, you did a lot of work on the marijuana 3% tax, and I know we went through a voting process, and I guess I just wanted to see if there's a catch-up I could get on where we are with that process, and especially now that we have another dispensary down in Whitehall. Is that what you said earlier? Yeah. So that will be increasing, I'm sure, as well. So just an update if you have that, or some awareness around it. So, thanks.
Thanks, Barb.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be guiding you the wrong way, but I mean, if you would ask like on the marijuana stuff, Department of Revenue. They oversee that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know on the distribution of it, when they'll send it to us. I
Yeah,
don't know if they'll
Okay.
send that quarterly, with
Okay.
this. And it wasn't supposed to start until, I don't know if Steve remembers, if it was 90 days after the election. I think we said April.
Yeah, I know, I don't remember the exact time frame change, but there was a delay period, I'm pretty
After.
sure after it was voted on before the tax would take effect.
Yeah, so the law said that it would have to be, I think it was 90 days after the election, and when I talked to Department of Revenue about it, if I remember correctly, it was to start taking effect April 1st, because that would be the beginning of a quarter. But I don't know how they distribute it to us, if they'll be distributing it quarterly or once a year, I don't know.
Okay, because this is a new venture for Jefferson County, obviously, so.
Mhm.
And then have you gentlemen or commissioners made any decision on where that money's going? That 3% tax, or is that still down the road?
Yeah, until we know what we're
What you're dealing with?
getting, we'll have
Yeah.
to figure out what hole we're gonna fill with it, yeah. It's
Okay.
gonna be,
Okay,
I have a feeling we're gonna be struggling meeting, meeting this, budget season, so we'll have to figure out where to best spend it.
Because if I recall correctly, that's general fund dollars, is it?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep. So, yeah, when we see something come up, Barb, we can sure let you know. We're
okay,
kinda big.
I would appreciate that if I just get to know, but,
Yeah, we don't know any more than you know at this point. so.
okay, well, I feel sad about that, but that's where we are.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then I did present a proclamation for strengthening families. You probably got that already, and, okay, good enough.
We're gonna try to act on that actually on the first,
yeah.
Oh,
so,
on April 1st, okay.
yeah.
But then I can put it out because I want to keep schools informed about that month, as well
Mhm.
as the libraries, et cetera, so it's okay
Yeah,
for
we're
me
gonna
to.
try to have it ready to go in the newspaper by that week of the first, so hopefully the monitor will be able to print it in time. It just takes us 2 weeks to get anything in the newspaper, so by the time you let Helen know, it was already too late to get it on. Well, we didn't have a meeting next week, so right, so that
Yeah,
was the
gotcha.
problem, yeah,
Gotcha.
so.
We most certainly can get it in on time.
Thanks, Connor.
You're always very helpful, Connor.
I do my best, Barb.
Yeah, yeah. And anyway, and going back to the marijuana tax, I would hope that you might keep in mind behavioral health and mental health, you know, which is something that I think, Dan, you already mentioned earlier as a topic that came up from our meeting last week. And I think there's some really needs there too. So anyway, thank you.
Any comments, Barb?
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, appoint board members. Have a chance to look at it? No. Well, okay. Okay.
I haven't seen the top one, I've seen the bottom one, so. Mosquito. That name looks familiar. And just announce them and we'll.
All right. I'm gonna do separately.
Yep.
Okay, the first one we'll go on is, this is for Cody Haggerty to be appointed to the Whitehall Mosquito Board. I would, ask for a motion, but due to the circumstances, I'm going to abstain from the vote due to the relationship, so I would just make a motion, first of all, to you two commissioners, I entertain a motion, to approve.
I'll make a motion to appoint Cody Haggerty to the mosquito board.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. On this one. Okay, this is recommended by Stephen Carey, who is the chief, recommending Leah Lewis and Brady Dawson to the Bull Mountain Fire District Board of Trustees to fill their 2 vacancies. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve those two, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have filed to be a trustee, so
But she won't get elected till.
should be, okay.
Yeah, this is just to fill that gap.
So it was Leah Lewis and who was the other?
Brady Dawson.
Oh, okay. Great.
Okay. All we have, unless anybody else has anything else.
Eliza, didn't you have anything for us?
Yeah.
I don't have anything specific. I was here to kind of just pop in and. since
You
I
just
was
want to give
around-
a speech?
I don't think I want to be the one to give a speech. They passed a budget, so the government is still open and otherwise Senator Deans is headed to China currently to discuss foreign relations and trade. And yeah, then he'll be back in DC working to pass bills for another probably, I think they have a shorter stint this time. I think it's 6 weeks. They just got done with their 10 straight weeks of legislation, but as you all know, it's been very busy and we're connecting with agencies to see where everything is at for everyone, so just here to listen.
Any,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry,
No, go ahead, Commissioner.
any updates on the Forest Service?
Yeah,
I know we're getting a lot of noise about the Forest Service layoffs. I don't
I
know.
attended the Bedrock meeting that Commissioner Doolittle was at as well. We look forward to seeing the letters. We are in communication with them, but I'm not sure of the status yet of where the administration is going.
It's going round and round. Not the EWG so much, but the other one, yeah.
Okay, good to know. I had to step out before the letters, so I didn't get to see where theirs were gonna go, but
I think they gave a date. I don't remember exactly what it is, but they're gonna change some more stuff. So
okay.
there's not a final letter to even be approved yet that I know
Oh,
of.
okay.
All of this
Well-
is drafts.
I'm sure it'll still be a very relevant conversation when they do get it done. But our staff and the senator are in contact with those agencies in DC.
So can you shed some light on this? I mean, I'm not asking for a commitment, but is that actually about right? 31% of beaverhead deer logs? Or do you know, or is that pretty high, or is that hindsight?
I don't know exactly on that one. I
would trust your number, the number they gave you. Was Cindy at that meeting?
No, I can't think of what her, no, Cindy was not there.
Okay, okay. I'll check.
That was from a Forest Service representative.
Okay. I know that a similar number was mentioned at the Bedrock,
Oh, what?
EWG.
And it was never really clear what that number was, whether it was the whole, all of the forests or
Right.
each forest itself.
Okay.
That's same thing.
I would imagine it was probably specific to the forest based on the number of employees and the number of layoffs we're aware of. But I will verify that for you.
Okay. Oh, my God.
So we'll look up.
Okay, anybody else?
I just have one
Yeah,
quick
Laura.
question. The Starbudge, you said it was on Main Street? What where?
It's almost across from Town Hall.
From the town
On,
hall?
yeah, on the south side off of Whitehall, or I mean, Legion Avenue.
Well,
It's the
really,
old,
so close to the
the dealership.
library.
it's not quite down that far. It's over where the car dealership is, you know, on the vacant lot, and where the old Ford, car lot is, just west of that.
Okay, so basically
It's-
Main Street.
It's just east of, what do you call it, the tire store. Right there, that little building there, the one that Ellen Wagner's in.
Okay, well, thank
It's her
you.
building, is my understanding.
What would you say?
Ellen Wagner's building,
Okay,
she's leasing it to these folks.
okay. All right, that's gonna make some of the Whitehall community happy. I'm saying that.
No,
because it's
but
just
not
gonna
very
be
many turned out for it last night, because they've already approved it, so,
good. Okay. that's
yeah, I don't
interesting.
know, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, very definitely. I know they were a little bit more adamant down at that end than here with that issue, so, okay.
Well, they were there, that's why that individual up above, they wouldn't let them in before, that's why they're up there at dump on the county side.
Yeah.
And evidently they've done some changes at the way the town.
That's
operates,
another
so
county.
That's validated that proclamation. Anything else?
Thanks so much.
Other than that, I'm gonna be adjourned then. Thank you. Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Connor.
Thursday,
Sure.
facilitator was.
Oh, no.